Welcome to Daryl's Beekeeping videos. I'm a master beekeeper and tonight's lesson is on queen marking devices. Whether you choose to mark a queen or not is a personal choice. I personally do not mark my queens unless a student wants me to teach them how to mark my queens. There are pros and cons to marking queens. The obvious pro to marking a queen is it helps new beekeepers spot the queen faster than spotting a queen that has not been marked. The disadvantage to marking a queen is if you mark a queen and then reintroduce her into the colony, the bees in the colony can do one of two things. You can either A, spot the paint marking and then try to remove it and not try to kill the queen, or they'll sense that something's wrong with the queen and try to kill her. I had that very same thing happen a couple years ago when I wanted to teach myself how to mark queens. So I had a very good laying queen that I went out and practiced the various styles of marking the queen till I found the one that I liked, and I happened on this nice queen that I loved because she was a very good laying queen. So I used the single-handed queen marking cage, and I'll show you how that works in a little bit. But so I marked the queen, let the paint thoroughly dry, and then I reintroduced her into her colony. And about 4 days later, I went to inspect that colony with a student who wanted to learn how to do beekeeping. So I was showing him that particular colony because she was a very good laying queen and it was a very gentle colony. So when I opened it up, I'd found to my horror they'd actually killed that queen. They did the latter where they thought something was wrong with her and they balled her and killed her by heat and suffocation. So think twice before you mark a queen. For young beekeepers, again, it helps you spot the queen easier, but it does come with some risks. If you are in the business where you are selling queens or you are selling packages or selling nucleus colonies to new beekeepers or any other beekeepers for that matter, if they want you to mark them, it's their choice and you can go ahead and mark that for them. Just realize the risks that come along with it. The pros for that, as for you the seller, is you can typically add about $5 or $10 to your selling costs just for you to take 5 minutes out of your time to mark the queen. So that being said, I'll get on with what we can use to mark the queens. So when you first, I'll come around a little closer to show you. When you mark a queen, you want to use markers that are water-based. You can use things like fingernail polish in a pinch, but again, because it's not water-based, I personally wouldn't use it. If you were to buy these colored marking pens through your local bee store or online bee supplier, they're going to cost you about $7 each. If you go on Amazon, you can get a pack of these things. I think there's like 6 in a package for like $7, maybe $8. They're inexpensive when you buy them on Amazon, and it's literally the same product, the same manufacturer. So again, go on Amazon and buy it, and I'll try to remember to put a link in my description for you. When you use these markers, they are based on the year that the queen was born. So it is based on the International Queen Marking Code. And this is also a master beekeeping test question that you'll somewhere encounter on one of the levels of the master beekeeping test, more than likely. So the colors are, and I'll put this a little closer, if not I'll just write it out in my video. So it's, there you go, hopefully you can read that. And the colors are white, yellow, red, green, and blue. And the color indicates the year, the last year that it was made, the queen was born on. For example, a year ending in a 1, such as 2021, would have the color white. A year ending in 2 would have the color yellow. So the way these work are, it's again because there are 5 colors: white, yellow, red, green, blue. I'll step back now. is for white, it's any year in 1 or 6. Yellow is 2 or 7. Red is 3 or 8. Green is 4 or 9. And blue is 5 or 0. Again, those of you going through the Master Beekeeping program, you'll have to know that when you get ready to take your test. Easy way to remember that is if you remember this phrase of will you raise good bees, each letter stands for a particular color. So will is white, and again that's for years ending 1 or 6. U, which would be yellow, is years ending in 2 or 7. Raise, which is red, years ending 3 or 8. So it's raise would be red. G, which is good, it's the color green, which is 4 or 9, or B, which stands for blue, is 5 or 0, years ending 5 or 0. All right, so now getting on to the capture devices. So you know what you're going to mark it with. You're going to mark it with one of these paint pens. Again, ideally water-based paint. And they typically don't, these water-based paints don't take too long to do. You never want to use oil-based paint at all, so don't go to your hardware store and buy an oil-based paint, because again it can damage the honeybee. And then when you mark it, you're going to mark it on the back of her thorax and try not to get it on her wings. Remember, the 3 parts of a honeybee are the head, the thorax where her wings and legs attach, and then her abdomen. So again, you always want to mark it on the thorax. And if you're a little skittish about capturing a queen and marking her, capture a drone, because they don't have a stinger and you can actually practice them. You can, and if you pick up the wings, the queen by her wings gently, you can actually get away with not even using one of these devices. But if you're kind of skittish about picking up the bees because you're afraid of getting stung, one of these devices might be the way to go for you. So again, I'll move a little closer as I discuss each one of these. So the simplest one that they have is a queen clip. It's either a plastic or a metal version of a queen clip, and it has these queen excluder slots, much like a queen excluder. And what it is these are small enough slots that the queen can't fit through, but the workers can fit through and get out. So once you get the queen in here, if she pops up enough, you could quickly dot her on her thorax. Again, it's not the most effective for marking simply because it's a triangle shape, and you can't always get her in that, but in a pinch you could do that. The next type are these push-in type of queen marking devices. This one has plastic legs, you can see those, and this one has metal push pins. So the way you would use this is once you see the queen crawling around on the comb, you would simply, if this was the face of the comb, I would simply take this queen trap and then push it and trap it, put it over top of her and push it into the comb, being careful not to push it too far in so you don't crush the queen in the process. And then from there, you push it in deep enough where it exposes her thorax, the back of her thorax, to one of those holes, and then you quickly dot it, let it stay there long enough for the paint to dry, and then you pull it off the comb and release her. So again, you can either use this one, it has the little 3 plastic legs, or you can use this one, it has the little metal ones. This metal one comes with these little styrofoam peanuts that you can cover up these little prongs to keep from hurting yourself. Again, a push-in, and it's fairly quick and easy to do that. The next type is a push-up type of queen cage. So again, much like the other ones, they all have this little mesh of some sort that the queen her thorax would go in there. And so it comes with a couple different variety of colors. This one just clear, and this one has a blue top. And the way you would use this is it has a tube with the mesh, and it has a plunger. So what you would do is you would take this, and then you would basically chase the queen into this plunger, with your plunger into this tube. Once she gets into the tube, you would simply turn it upright. Then she's going to crawl around in there, and then you're going to slowly push up that plunger until she is resting against one of these mesh holes. Again, don't push it up too far so that you don't kill her or crush her, but you would push it up until she's trapped up against one of those holes. You'd wait till she's underneath one of the holes, and then again just push it up ever slightly more so that she's trapped, and then you would take your pin out, shake it up, and then from there you would simply take the pin and mark it through there, through one of those holes and on the back of her thorax. All right, so those are fairly easy to use, but the easiest one that I have found to mark queens, and the one that I always teach all my mentees to use, is this single-handed queen marking cage. And what it is, it has a built-in plunger inside it. So you can see this plunger going up and down. And then it has a hole at the top. And then it has one of these roll top things, kind of like one of those old roll top desks. So you can see it rolling in. And then once you roll it in place, it has those slots like a queen excluder does that the workers can come out of, but the queen is trapped inside. And again, I'll have a photo of where I did one with my mentee and showed you how to do it. And some of the better ones of these versions have, you won't be able to see it on this camera, but it has a small plastic notch inside the, or a tab inside this tube. So as this plunger slides up and down, once it gets up down to the bottom, I can actually rotate the plunger, rotate it, and lock it into place. And then when I'm ready, I can unlock it, push it up, and then I'm ready to go. I trap the queen, and I can mark it. So again, the way you would work this, if this were my comb face, I would simply see my queen rolling around, or walking around on the comb. I would open this up by its name. It's a one-handed queen treasure. So you would have your finger inside this plunger, so you can move it up and down. And then you have one thumb on this button, so you can roll it up with your thumb. So as you see your queen walking on the comb, you simply push this over top of her. And if you end up getting a worker in the process, that's okay. Sucks to be that worker, but you've got the queen. Once you see the queen is trapped inside it, you see the advantage of this one where it's got that little plastic notch. I can actually hold it because it's now upside down. So once I put this down on top of my queen, so that I don't have her pinned other than inside the hole, not any part of this one-handed queen catcher is on her. Once she's in there, she's going to be running around frantically, and at some point she's going to come up inside the tube. You can just sit there and wait her out until she comes up, and then you can slowly start to use your finger and rotate this roll top down and under. And if she's staying on the bottom, you can slowly start to do that, and then as it starts to hit her legs, she'll want to get out of its way and go up. But just make sure that you don't accidentally trap her in this little space as your roller gets toward the end. So again, as she moves up, you quickly close it up, and then you'll see her crawling around inside there. And then from there, you just flip it up. She'll come to rest on the foam. And then again, you just give it a slight turn, and then you slowly push it up until it gets toward the top. And then from there, you can simply hold it. And once she gets up to the top, then you can take that marker and then, again, shake it and then go through one of those holes once she's got her her thorax in between one of those little slots, and mark it. And then from there, because this is a nice little cage, you can then set it on top of another hive or somewhere nearby while you're letting the paint dry. So once she's trapped and marked, you can simply relax this a little bit, give her some room to walk around in it and not stress out as much. Don't keep her pinned up against the top of this, because again, if you get some paint and it dries on top of it with this roller, you may actually damage her as well. So once you get her marked, pull this tube down a little bit, let her walk around a little bit, relax, and then once you're convinced that the paint is dry, you simply take it over to your colony and then simply hold this tube in the upright position, in the back position, and then you simply roll the cage back, and then you'll see her run out and down and into the colony, and it's just that quick. Again, this is my favorite queen marking tool. It's called the one-handed queen marking tube. And again, I'll show you this local manufacturer. One-handed catcher is what it's called. Again, they're on Amazon and from your major bee suppliers. So That is how you use the various marking devices, and I told you the international color marking codes. So thank you for watching my video, and have a great day.